Hello there. My name is... You know what? Fuck it! Twisted Metal 4 is a good game. There! I said it! The truth is out! You fucking haters, you can... Ah! Alright, I'm sorry, I'm back, I'm cool, I'm fine, whatever. Now, Twisted Metal 4 is a good game. It's not as good as 3. Some of you out there are looking at me like, what are you talking about? Fuck your mother, okay? 4's good, 3 was better, but nevertheless, this is a good and fun video game. I don't even want to hold this off anymore. Let's just get to it. Alright. So, Twisted Metal 4. I guess 989 Studios wasn't happy with the reviews the third game got, although, from what I remember back in the day, Twisted Metal 3 was the fucking shit. Still, I guess they decided to go something completely different. Since Twisted Metal 3 did sort of feel like the 989 Studios took Twisted Metal 2 and made it their own in a way. It's kind of hard to describe, you gotta play both games to understand. Twisted Metal 4, on the other hand, is very different. The tone and the characters, everything is honestly veered more towards, much more towards comedy than the third game was. And this is sort of the one, honestly, that sticks out like a sore thumb, I guess, in the series. This is the black sheep, I guess you could consider. Because this one, you just look at the back of the cover and it really just looks kind of silly. It's still a good game, but it does fall short at some parts. Now, let's go over the main things people complain about, or at least the main things, I guess, that matter. So, gotta keep myself calm. The characters. Okay. Well, last time when I spoke about the characters of Twisted Metal 3, I mentioned how they were very silly and their stories were retarded, and it just didn't feel like the serious and kind of cool and complex characters that the previous two games had. But Twisted Metal 4 goes above and beyond silly, to be honest. I know I just spent a minute or so just screaming about how this game is good, but the characters are, honestly, kind of amount to a bowl of shit. Twisted Metal 3 felt like they tried, but failed miserably. They tried to make good characters with a hint of silliness, with a hint of sort of dark and sick humor, but just failed miserably, but at least they tried. Twisted Metal 4, on the other hand, feels more like they went for all-out comedy, and the characters really do suffer because of that. The characters in this game, there's barely any, essentially, from the previous games. They're all completely new and ridiculous. There's Meter Maid, there's Orbital, the one character everyone seems to love for both his story and gameplay. To be honest, can be kind of a cheap character. There's Captain Grimm, a pirate version of Mr. Grimm, who even I will say is fucking retarded. 989, what the fuck were you thinking? There's Calypso. Something I forgot to mention about this game. You see, this game, the story is that Sweet Tooth has taken over the Twisted Metal competition. This is explained through the opening intro of the game, that he has taken over the competition, and now Calypso is a playable character because he wants revenge and, well, really his competition back. So there is one great thing about this game. Finally, for the first and only time, being able to play as Calypso. I'm going mad. So, the change of story is kind of stupid, but if you were going to change Twisted Metal's story in some way, I think this was the best way to go. It does at least make sense. It's silly, but it makes sense. As for the other characters, Goggle Eyes, Pizza Boy, Jesus H. Christ, Quattro, General Warthog, the only other character, essentially, who is returning. Obviously, he's based off Warthog. Microblast, who's a fucking leprechaun. Trash Man. The Joneses, who are just a really not funny spoof off the Griswolds. Drag Queen. Give me a minute. Fucking Drag Queen. And probably the best character of all, Rob Zombie. Yes, he can play as Rob fucking Zombie in this game. It's beautiful. He's actually a pretty good character to play as. And nothing else to say. He's fucking Rob Zombie. The other characters, well, the interesting thing about this game is that there's a boss on every level. Now, some of these bosses are completely new, and some are old characters taken to be bosses. Now, that there is kind of ridiculous to me. The idea of there being a boss in every level, though, isn't that bad, but it's just, they got no stories, they're just there to look cool. Why weren't they the actual characters this time? I mean, I'll get to the bosses themselves when I get to the levels, but overall, the characters in this game are even worse. I could accept 3s, but this is... I don't understand how the hell you think of this. So, characters suck. But there's more to cover. So let's move on. The graphics. Alright, I had to take a break for a minute because I had to spend about 10 minutes trying to think of anything else to say about the graphics. There is absolutely barely anything to say. Anyone, and I do mean anyone, who complained about the graphics of this game is, like in the third game, simply looking for another fucking reason to complain! This game was made in 1999! 1999! What do you want from the fucking graphics? Okay. Graphics A+. I'll say this, I don't understand why everything in the game is so shiny. The graphics are A+ material. People need to just, if you're going to complain about something, complain about legitimate things. Don't just keep adding on your fucking controls! I'm back again. Now, the controls for this game are very good. In fact, possibly better than the third in a way. The digital controls are sadly fucked with. Not as good as the previous 2 games in a sense. It follows sort of like a race car style formula. You use the left and right part of the D-pad to turn and steer, and you use X to accelerate. Some people might like that, but in a card combat game, I liked all movement being controlled by the D-pad. It was awkward, but at least it worked. Other than that, shooting and switching weapons are the trigger buttons. Reverse is triangle, boost is circle, or one of them. Can't seem to get my facts straight, I guess. I haven't used those controls. But yeah, the digital controls, don't use them. The analog controls, on the other hand, are better than Twisted Metal 3's. Everything is exactly the same, right analog stick being more dominant, but they fixed the one stupid problem. Now, you don't have to press on the left stick to go back. You can now just go back on the right stick. Movement is just so much more fluent that way. Whatever. As for the game's control in the game, debatably better than Twisted Metal 3 there. I don't tip over as much. Not that I tipped over that much in Twisted Metal 3, but arguably the way the game controls here is improved over Twisted Metal 3. Overall, the controls, that's grade A controls. Not counting the screwed with digital controls. Nothing else to say. Hey, and we got through a topic without me screaming at all. We're making some progress here. Moving on. Level design. The levels. Well, the levels here are alright, I guess. As for their design, though, far better, far superior to Twisted Metal 3. The levels were, in Twisted Metal 3, the levels were, as I said, they felt like kind of small and as if they kind of stacked stuff on top of stuff. Here, they are huge and way more elaborate. Completely better. Only flaw is that I feel like they're kind of too big and it kind of hinders the gameplay a bit. I'll go into that later. As for the levels themselves, there is Junkyard. Just a junkyard, I guess. The boss of the level is Crusher, some random vehicle with no story that crushes you. Don't ask me. There's Neon City, some cool looking city where the boss is Moonbuggy, space vehicle I guess, who also has no story. It's nothing more than a big car for you to fight. There's Road Rage, which is a highway where you fight Super Thumper. That's one of the original characters that they've taken to be a boss. Don't know how you make Thumper a boss. He's a fucking lowrider, but moving on. There's the bedroom, where you're shrunk down to the size of little RC cars. Boy, is this fucking stupid. And where the boss you fight is RC car. This little car with this big-ass laser on it. Don't look at me like that. I didn't make this game. There's Amazonia, 3000 BC. We've gone back in time, I guess. Jesus fuck, what happened? Anyway, the boss here is Super Axle. Oh well, this is the coolest level of the game. There is the oil rig, where they do something kind of innovative. You fight two bosses. You fight Super Slam and Super Auger. And this is also the level where you can kind of fall off and die, I guess sort of like the rooftops of this game. There's Minion's Maze, which is alright. As you would have guessed, you face Minion. Although now he's in a regular tank, which you would think would hinder his speed, but it doesn't. Not that it matters. Minion already sucks in this game as an AI. Where in the first three games he was absolutely terrifying. Now he's completely incompetent and just goes off the side of an edge and starts spazzing out and giving you plenty of time for free hits. And then there's the final level, Carnival, where the boss is Sweet Tooth. Sounds easy? Well, it's not! The fucking most cheapest final boss I've ever faced! Special! Makes no sense! It just grabs you and just... Moving on. So there's the levels, there's the bosses. All around, level design is better. The bosses could do some work, but who cares? You unlock everything after you beat the game once. So if you got a memory card, hooray. You can even play as the final boss and be a complete cheap ass to the computer or your friends. Moving on. Soundtrack. Now, the soundtrack of this game sucks. Absolutely, positively fucking sucks. I know there are plenty of people, even who hate this game, who probably also like this soundtrack, but this one can kiss my ass and go get sodomized, for all I care. I'm talking about a soundtrack here. Anyway, what is the problem with this one? It veers way too far from heavy metal, which is like the music that fits twisted metal the most. This soundtrack panders more towards what was popular at the time. And we all know we would not like to hear what was popular at 1999. You've got bands like Cypress Hill, Ghoul Spoon, what? 1 Minute Silence. Who the fuck are these people? And the problem is, some of these songs are like kind of rapish. I know I don't like rap, no offense though, but it just doesn't fit twisted metal. It doesn't. And any Rob Zombie songs are the remix versions of his songs, which personally, despite how much I love the guy, I don't like. The only good songs in this game are Chaos by Scold, whoever that is, for level 5, Amazonia 3000 BC. Part of the reason why that's the best level. And Grease Paint and Monkey Brains by White Zombie for the final level. Overall though, nothing else to say. Whereas Twisted Metal 3 soundtrack was cool, this one can go burn. The soundtrack, not the game. Well, that about wraps that up. Let's move on to the endings. Alright, endings. Yes, they suck. They suck shit. Let's be honest here, these are the same people that wrote the endings for Twisted Metal 3. I've heard some say that these are at least slightly better than Twisted Metal 3's. If I can be honest here, which I've been, half of them are better, half of them are even worse. Again, the characters' stories don't help, the wishes are stupid, and how they're granted is just for comedic effect. So, it sucks. I don't have anything else to say for that. Endings can go to hell, I guess. Fine. Well, let's move on to, as I said last time, what matters most. Gameplay. Well, now we come down to the gameplay. How does this fare? Debatably better than Twisted Metal 3. Personally, I don't think so. But the physics are kinda better, I'd say. And for the most part, the gameplay is sort of the same. Not much else to say here. I mean, it is superior in some ways to all the other Twisted Metals, inferior in others. I mean, in this game, whereas in Twisted Metal 3, an enemy would only grab a health pack if they were close to it and low on health. Here, I swear to God, they will go out of their way to find a health pack if they're low in health always, that's just one problem. And this game does have some problems with glitches, unlike Twisted Metal 3. I mean, when you go over a ledge, you kind of get stuck for a few seconds, and you can get stuck on a wall. Doesn't make any sense. But overall, the gameplay is fine. It's at a nice pace. Everyone pretty much fights each other like Twisted Metal 3. What do you know? It is a pretty superb game. What drags it down more, on the other hand, is just the even dumber characters and stories, which is the main reason why 3 is better. But still, an excellent game. Okay, maybe excellent's going too far, but a good game. So, nothing else to say. Well, also some of the special weapons in the game, like the character special weapons, are a little uncreative and retarded and make no fucking sense. Where they just sort of grab you when they start doing this with your car. It doesn't make any sense. But overall, the gameplay is, as I said, just fine. For what it is, could be better. But hey, not everything needs to be a piece of gold. So, there you go. There is Twisted Metal 4. Final verdict. It's alright. I'll tell you what though. This and Twisted Metal 3 did not deserve all those retarded motherfuckers out there bad-mouthing it all over the fucking internet. I mean, these people. Many of them are just these retards who are terrible at reviewing games, probably aren't gamers, who spend most time just creating random videos on YouTube. It's as if they think that people care, and it's as if it's really special. I mean, fuck all those people. Don't they have anything better to do? Oh, Jesus Christ, if there was one of them right here right now, I'd fucking badmouth him so much his self-esteem fucking goes down.
No, stop!
Who the hell are you?
I am Internet Thrasher. I am one of the greatest YouTube reviewers of all time. I review games, I review cars, whether they be fictional or not, I review them as if they were real, and I also review things such as, should this character wear these clothes in the game? Should they have these tires on their car? And should they be wearing a monocle?
Well, that's great and all, but, you wanna get out of my house? I got a video game review to finish.
No, I have to kill you!
What? Why?
Because you did a travesty by reviewing games such as Twisted Metal 3 and 4 and giving them good ratings, whereas I have given them bad ratings. And believe it or not, many people would agree with me.
Yeah, a lot of people would also say that Call of Duty is a really good video game series.
What's your point?
My point is that maybe you should put down the gun, go home.
No.
Reevaluate your fucking life.
No, I can't.
Maybe next time when you play a video game, play it, have fun.
Never.
And don't stop when you've noticed something little that changed so you can make a goddamn video about it.
Never.
And while you're at it, by the looks of it, you need to get a fucking job. So get a fucking job.
I do have a job. I make videos for YouTube.
You have no idea how retarded that sentence sounded.
You know what? Tough shit. Time to die.
Oh,
No. No. Ah.
You're not too competent, are you?
Shut up. Have you ever used a gun before? It's not that easy. Focus. Where'd he go? Fuck you, Cole. I'm out of ammo? What the hell? I thought one clip would be enough!
Clearly, it wasn't.
Wait, what are you doing? That's my gun!
Word of advice, you piece of shit. Next time, be prepared. Now, I'll see you in hell, you fuck monkey.
No!
Well, that concludes the review. All around, Twisted Metal 3 and 4, good games. You should get them, especially if you are Twisted Metal fans. This one of the best games ever. This one, it's alright, but, oh well, good games. Anyway, I'll see you later. I gotta go take care of some shit.
Wait, what are you doing?
You ever come face to face with a hedge trimmer?
No! No!